The Summary of Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Thinking Fast and Slow is a profound work by Daniel Kahneman that delves into the two systems of thinking that drive the way humans make decisions. The book is an amalgamation of decades of research in psychology, behavioral economics, and cognitive science, encapsulating the essence of how we think and make choices. System 1 and System 2. Kahneman introduces the concept of two systems of thought, System 1 and System 2. System 1 is fast, automatic, and often subconscious. It's the system that reacts quickly to a loud noise or a familiar face, operating effortlessly and efficiently but also prone to biases and errors. System 2, on the other hand, is slow, deliberate, and conscious, that is responsible for more complex and analytical tasks such as solving a math problem or planning a trip. The system requires effort and energy, often leading to mental fatigue. The role of heuristics. One of the core themes in the book is the reliance on heuristics by System 1. Heuristics are mental shortcuts that simplify decision-making. While they can be incredibly useful, they also introduce biases. Kahneman explores several types of heuristics, such as the availability heuristic, where people judge the likelihood of events based on how easily examples come to mind, and the representativeness heuristic, where people assess the probability of an event by comparing it to an existing prototype. Cognitive biases. Kahneman thoroughly examines various cognitive biases that arise from our reliance on System 1. Anchoring is a bias where an individual depends too heavily on an initial piece of information, the banker, when making decisions. For instance, if someone is exposed to a high price for a product first, they are likely to judge subsequent prices as more reasonable, even if they are still high. The hindsight bias is another, where people see events as having been predictable after they have already happened. Prospect theory. A significant portion of the book is dedicated to prospect theory, a groundbreaking model developed by Kahneman and his colleague Amos Tversky. This theory describes how people choose between probabilistic alternatives that involve risk, where the probabilities of outcomes are known. It reveals that people are not always rational actors, and that they weigh potential losses more heavily than potential gains. This loss aversion can lead to risk-averse behavior when facing potential gains, and risk-seeking behavior when facing potential losses. The endowment effect related to loss aversion is the endowment effect, which Kahneman describes in detail. This bias occurs when people ascribe more value to things merely because they own them. For instance, people tend to value a mug they own more highly than an identical mug they do not own. This effect demonstrates how ownership increases the value of an item in the owner's mind, leading to irrational decision-making. Overconfidence and planning fallacy. Kahneman also discusses overconfidence, a common bias where individuals overestimate their own abilities or the accuracy of their knowledge. This is particularly prevalent in areas where outcomes are uncertain, and it often leads to the planning fallacy, where people underestimate the time, costs, and risks of future actions and overestimate the benefits. For instance, a construction project might be planned with an expectation of completion in 1 year, but due to unforeseen challenges and delays, it could take much longer and cost significantly more. The impact of framing. The way choices are presented or framed significantly affects decision-making. Kahneman illustrates this with the concept of framing effects, where different presentations of the same problem can lead to different decisions. For example, people tend to avoid risk when a positive frame is presented: 200 lives will be saved, but seek risks when a negative frame is presented: 400 people will die. This demonstrates that our choices are heavily influenced by how information is structured and presented to us. Experiencing self versus remembering self. Another intriguing concept Kahneman explores is the distinction between the experiencing self and the remembering self. The experiencing self lies in the present and feels each moment, while the remembering self looks back on experiences and creates a narrative. This can lead to discrepancies between what people actually experience and what they remember about the experience. For instance, a vacation with a few moments of discomfort can be remembered less fondly than a vacation with uniformly moderate experiences, even if the latter was less enjoyable in the moment. Applications and implications. Kahneman's insights have broad applications in various fields such as economics, medicine, business, and public policy. By understanding the mechanics of our thinking processes, we can design better decision-making environments, create policies that account for human biases, and improve personal and professional outcomes. For example, nudging, a concept popularized by Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein, relies on structuring choices in a way that leverages biases to improve decision outcomes without restricting freedom of choice. Conclusion: Thinking Fast and Slow is a seminal work that offers deep insights into the human mind. Kahneman's exploration of the interplay between the fast, intuitive System 1 and the slow, deliberate System 2 provides a framework for understanding how we think, make decisions, and ultimately behave. By recognizing and mitigating the biases and errors inherent in our thinking, we can make more informed and rational choices both individually and collectively.